Stewart's flickered the ball. They leave the starting line. Leah's out in front of him at the finish line. It's Pruitt on a hole shot. 368.4 beats a 366.2. 43 again, but he smokes the tires. Here she goes, Leah Pruitt. Her first win since the Mile High Nationals of 2022. And a couple of you can't predict how this is going to end final rounds. That's why you got to love this sport.
They didn't get old no matter what you do.
I'm so proud of you.
Awesome. All right, hey! There we go.
Hey.
Look at our race car all day. It deserves to be in the winner's circle, and I feel like I finally deserve to too. We're going to take this momentum on and do the best we can and do what Tony Stewart Racing does best. Keep winning.
Hey, you are now holding your own Wally. Is it as good as you thought it would be?
Every bit as much as I thought it would be. This is so cool. To do all the things we've done in motorsports and to win a national event is pretty awesome.
My name is Leah Pruitt. I am a top fuel driver in the NHRA Mission Foods drag racing series for Tony Stewart Racing, who is also my husband. But I've only been racing for my husband for a very short time, for 2 years, but I've been professionally drag racing for 28 years. And I'm 35. So my story begins growing up in Southern California, Redlands, very small town. My father was not a drag racer. He was a land speed racer, and he wanted boys, and he got blessed with 2 girls. But he didn't let that hold him back from wanting to pursue, family time in motorsports, and he actually helped develop in the early stages the Junior Drag Racing League in the NHRA, where kids as young as 8 years old could start drag racing. And my sister, older than I, she started first, and I got to watch her race. She's 4 years older than I. And it really wasn't a great experience, to be honest. My dad, extremely competitive, and also we were in the automotive industry. My parents built from the ground up a small automotive repair shop of heavy equipment, front end alignments, brakes, suspension. So that's the world I grew up in, was in the automotive space, watching my dad race at land speed at Bonneville Salt Flats, and then also Dry Lake Bed. And then, of course, my sister starting to race. And when I say it wasn't the greatest experience, it's because my sister really didn't do well, and my dad yelled a lot. And I'm this little kid, like 5 years old, going, this looks terrible. But by the time I turned 8 years old, that's all I knew was racing now, and how could you not want to do that, right? You want to wear the same clothes that your sister's wearing, do the same sports, and of course start racing. So I started, but once we got racing together is when we really flourished. I got to learn from her mistakes, and as a family unit, we started traveling throughout the state, and then for the western states, and then ultimately by the time I was 12, I was traveling the nation, chasing points, having a goal, something that was very difficult to relate to kids my own age. And from there, I went to the big leagues, as in I spectated at the professional drag races. And I remember going to Pomona, California, sitting in the stands and watching the Top Fuel dragsters and funny cars, John Force or Eddie Hill, Bernstein, rip down the track and then go, oh, I can go right into the pits, would go into the pits, and then I would see like 12 men flourish around this race car. Zip, 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 torque, 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 all these parts that I knew nothing about, but I knew I do this on the smallest of small levels, and they're the big time, and I want to get there somehow. I want to go 300 plus miles an hour. I want to have a mechanical unit force. I love everything that I'm seeing. So at 12 years old, I had that vision that that's what I wanted to do. Now, when people ask, who did you look up to? What females in the industry did you really model yourself after? And I really have a hard time with that question because there wasn't anybody that was doing it the way I was doing it. You were either born into a family of racers, like real-time racers, having the opportunity, or you're well off in life, or you are an engineer, or you get sponsors to back your dream. And I thought, well, that last one seems like the way that I've got to go. And I knew I wasn't extremely mechanically minded in the sense of how to tune engines or anything of that standpoint. So I went, okay, if I want to race at the highest level, I want to represent the world's best companies, the ones that believe in my dream of being the best on track and the best off track, but I'm going to need to learn how to represent them. How do I do that? Well, I steered my scholarships into college to Cal State San Bernardino and majored in communications. And 2 years into communications, I realized this is not going to pay the bills. My bills or the race car bills. And so I double majored and switched at the same time, or co-majored, and pursued business development, marketing strategies. And from there, I utilized into my first professional racing opportunity behind the wheel. So I was racing, but I was able to do that because of sponsors that I was able to get or current sponsors that the team had and be able to represent them. And as I leveled up throughout Pro Mod, Nostalgia Funny Car, Top Fuel, every part of it had an extra element that just helped me grow. And from a business standpoint, it allowed me to add value to the team and the companies rather than what I thought I would need to know, how to turn every screw, torque everything, learn these maps. Instead, I was able to help build the infrastructure of a team, make it strong so we can afford to have parts so we can go fast. And that is where I really kind of found my niche. I most definitely have felt different levels and different dynamics of prejudice and the stereotype of, well, this is a male-dominated industry and you're a female in it. I'll fast forward to right now. I like to say we are a male-prevalent industry, but we are not male-dominated. We have champions, female champions in every category, and even runner-ups and everything else. So females are not dominating and males are not dominating. We coexist together. When I think about being a female in this male prevalent industry, it's a little different for me to wrap my head around because I've always been a female. I don't know what it's like on the other side. But when I was a kid racing, 8 to 15 years old, there were a lot of little girls just like me. It was almost 50-50. So as I went through, through school, through classes, through other categories, the female base got smaller and smaller. And I could see it because they didn't feel the support. There was no roadmap of how does a woman really navigate their way through this. So for me, I was kind of doing one step in front of the other, and I'd get 2 steps and then someone would try and knock me down, whether that would be just good old boy talk. You don't deserve to be here, you can't drive, that's never gonna happen. And what that created in me was this fire of 2 things, 2 fires really. One, A, I'm gonna prove you wrong. And B, I've already set out my goal, my direction of what I wanna do in life. Just, I'm sure as many others are, if you're a fabricator or welder, you're an installer, like this is what you do. So I made sure that I became great at it. That way nobody could knock me down. And then I realized it's really 2 ways for people to go. You're either jumping on this train because I'm going, or you're not, and then I'm just gonna prove you wrong. And so those 2 things have really just kept my inertia going, and I would have to remind myself of that. I'd have to remind myself that what I'm doing right now is A, inspiring for young individuals, young girls, B, the group that's around me, these men. Because it's not like I have a team of women. I have a team of men, and I've had to learn how to add value to them professionally in each way and be an asset to them in their career at the same time because it's reciprocal. Now they are helping me in my career, and you create this unity, this bond where ultimately you want to do the same thing, and that's kill the competition. And once people are aboard your train of, man, this woman is outstanding in what she's doing, her drive is impeccable, and she's got this skill and talent, like they're the ones to brush off that female stereotype and almost pull that load, not for you, but with you. And from an optics standpoint, that is how I think we truly change the narrative of females in a male-dominant industry. So in this last couple months, I've made the decision to step back from the driving position to start a family. And no, I'm not pregnant yet. And that was really hard to do, is to share that with the world, that what your plans are, right? You should always keep your plans under wraps. But we had to for professional reasons. My emotions through this have been very calculated. And that seems like two things that can't happen. But because I knew this day would come, that I would be out of the seat and that Tony would be in my seat or someone else, and I'm teaching them, and I'm basically going, here's everything that I've created and worked my whole life, and now I want you to succeed. I've been able to conquer that thought and be excited about it instead of regretful or resentful. It's just like anything. Repetition is the master key to everything. And so I've gone over in my mind of, what do I truly want? Asking myself that question. How do I feel in this moment? In my best moments, feeling happy and excited about what our future can hold, to I've had some challenges in this process. And so instead of being down and going, man, what are you doing? Are you throwing away your career and you might possibly not have a family? I check in with myself and go, we're gonna keep trying and going, and if it doesn't work out, it's beautiful no matter what. And at the same time, what I did for myself in the calculated part was making sure I didn't fall into a hole, a deep valley. And by doing that said, what else does this team need that I can add value to besides being in the driver's seat? So I extended my education to data analytics and being an IT power plant for our team in a way that we never had before. So I am growing in the industry. When I get back in the car someday, hopefully, I'm just way more experienced, and we have a team that will hopefully have championships under their belt, and I've been a part of it the whole time. So I think what's really crucial about being a female in this industry is having a plan and following through with that plan. Maybe you have some A, B, and C plans behind the back, but just going, I'm just gonna have a family, and poof, that wasn't in my cards. And I feel like any woman that is striving to make a difference in the world, in an industry, or just professionally on her own, has probably had a couple plans in her life and is a very optimistic person about life and doesn't let little things get them down. So time will tell how things work out on our end. I think one of the strongest tools in my toolbox has been my group of women that I have that I speak with. Now, they're not other female racers. One of them is a mechanic. Another one is a pit reporter, currently right now announcing with the truck race with NASCAR, who also works within NHRA. Another one happens to be a lender, so a whole different industry. But we get together, we're friends, and we have seen, whether it be trash talking or some really nasty things happen in the media or personally, or a job get cut out from underneath of you because someone's playing these drama games, to leveling up their skill set. And that's what we bounce off of each other. And that's been very strong. Because I really can't go to my husband about that, or to the guys that I work with. Great, we'll have some race car conversations, but they don't quite get it. So for me, it was really developing that network of women. And it doesn't happen overnight. It starts with that one person you talk to every now and again. Really, grow with that relationship. Get close with them. Bring another woman in, and then all of a sudden you have this pack that you get to watch each other absolutely grow and make a difference. And it is so empowering. That is what I thrive off of. My female group doing their own thing, and then at the same time taking a step back and going, wow, I've got these little girls that are growing up and I'm actually becoming a role model for them. And I feel like that happens absolutely everywhere, whether you're coming in to give an estimate on a home upgrade or installing a Renai tankless water heater, and just imagine that little girl going, wow, this woman is in here just schooling my dad on what he needs in the house. And you think you're just doing your job, but really you're giving a very lasting impression to somebody that you would never know. But always having that in your mind is gives you a lot of clarity and brings out the passion for doing what you're doing right now.